Welcome to the Autistic Culture Podcast, where we celebrate autistic contributions to society and culture.
Join us every Tuesday as we dive into everything from famous autistics in history to the pop culture, unique passions, and the special interests that define our community.
Whether you're autistic or love someone who is, welcome to Autistica. We're your hosts, Dr. Angela Kingdon, the linguistic autistic,
and Matt Lowry, licensed psychological practitioner. Join us as we explore the values, traditions, and identity of Autistica.
Episode 95, Board Games Are Autistic. Well, hey, Matt, I got a good one for you today.
Oh, good. I like good ones.
We're talking board games.
Oh, good. It was presumably the games that you play on boards rather than when you are bored.
Yeah. Well, it's a twofer for me.
Oh, there you go.
I play board games when I'm bored. They're board games then.
Yeah, they are.
Less board games. Do you have a favorite? I just assume you love board games as much as I do. And just based on that assumption, what are your favorite board games?
Okay, so honestly, my favorite, this is going to be really weird, Godzilla Monopoly.
Okay, I can take that. I like a little themed Monopoly.
Settlers of Catan is good. The more structured ones are good. There's a Gargoyles role-playing game based on Disney's Gargoyles. I like that. But again, just for the fact that you can run around the board, collect, monsters and, have your little...
What is the equivalent of Boardwalk in Godzilla? Is it
Godzilla,
the tower?
But I'm not sure.
Oh, because you're collecting not Godzilla-related streets.
I will... I will be honest, I haven't had an opportunity to play board games with anyone for some time because, you need other people because otherwise it's just me sadly in a room pushing markers around a board.
This is why as a child I was obsessed with solitaire, and card games also an obsession of mine because at least solitaire you can play alone. But I have 100% played hours of backgammon where I am both the white and the black, just for the record.
Oh yeah, chess counts as a board game, doesn't it?
Chess is a board game, indeed.
Yeah, we covered that on our, chess
is
the show?
Autistic. It was, the Queen's Gambit.
Yeah, Queen's Gambit. Yeah, because I have, I think, 8 or 9 different chess sets, and now that I have a game room, I really, really want to get like a marble chess set made of marble because I want one of those like. That Xavier and Magneto can play together because I've got Glass, I've got Muppets, I've got Mario, wooden chess sets. I've got all these different chess sets, but I really, really want a very, very fine chess set that even non-chess players will look at and say, "Oh my, that is very nice. I would like to learn that game," and I would have somebody to play chess with because I do really, really love chess.
Yes. Well, there are different types of games. We're going to talk about this today, but the reason I wanted to bring this episode is because I met these researchers. They're both in the UK. They're at the University of Plymouth, which is just south of where I am in the bottom corner of England. Basically France, I think is the other name for Plymouth. No, the people of Plymouth do not enjoy that joke. So it's Liam Cross and Gray Atherton. Gray is actually, like me, an American transplant in the UK, and they literally, professionally, as their job, full-time, study the relationship between board games and autism.
Really?
This is their job. Yes.
That's a very targeted audience. I like that.
I love them very much.
That's very pertinent to our interests.
I know. I'm like, this is your job. And then they go to conferences all around the world, which, as you know, there are many board game and game related conferences.
Oh, yes.
And they present their academic findings at conferences of gamers where they go play games on the breaks because you're there. You know how you were complaining you don't have anyone to play games with?
Oh, yeah.
What if your job was to go speak at conferences of people playing games? You would play all the games.
we were talking last year about doing a live episode from Gen Con
Yeah.
because I
Oh, yeah. I still
really,
want to do that.
me too, because Gen Con is a fantastic place. It's not quite as academic as what these guys are at, but it is the game central, and it's relatively close to where I currently live, so it would be a very, very easy trip. So,
Yeah. I feel like this is my dream job when people are like, if you could do another job, what would it be? I feel like academic research of board games. Like,
there you go.
they literally, one of my
You're
favorite
going to
board
get your
games.
third PhD.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this one will work. I can
Yeah.
do it with this one.
There you go.
So have you ever played Dixit? It's a
No, but the
fairly
name is funny.
new, yeah, Dixit. So they work with like middle schoolers, like 12 to 14-year-olds,
Yeah.
and basically play Dixit with them multiple times with multiple groups of kids, teaching them Dixit, observing them, studying them.
So what is the Dixit?
Oh, it's like a picture-based game. I actually just played it with my son-in-law and his fiance the other day. We've had it for a while. I don't think I'm good at it. I came in last place, but here's how it works. You get a bunch of cards. You have like 5 cards, and they all have beautiful kind of surrealist paintings.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to, it's a picture version of like Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples.
Mm-hmm.
You basically have to, you could sing, you could dance, you could hum, like Ecolalia's Welcome, but you make some sort of noise about your picture. And then you put your picture.
That is very pertinent to our interests.
Yes. So then you put your picture face down, and then you shuffle the cards and you flip them over, and everybody has to guess which was your picture. Like, what would be your answer? So it's just like when you're playing Apples to Apples, there's like a saying or a prompt, and everyone puts in their answers, and they have to, like, based on how well they know you, guess which one yours is. And I am terrible at it, and pretty much either nobody guesses my thing because my hints are so obscure, or everybody guesses it. It's a disaster. But I do think observing middle school kids and like social rules through Dixit would be, and language and so many things. So first of all, a couple things. The general population, I don't believe this, but they have actually done scientific research on this. So they have found that less than 1% of the general population says they like board games. People do not like board games.
Why? Oh no.
And
that's unfortunate.
And then I still think this number should be higher. I don't believe, but they have said, like, so basically less than 1% of neurotypicals, 7% of autistics say they like board games. I guess the rest of the autistic people are at the Ren Fest or something. I don't know.
Are they counting like RPGs as board games, or is that
no? This is just, we're just talking about board games in their research. So obviously there are lots of other special interests, but I like 7%. I feel like, but anyway, that's the deal. They study the logic, the systems, and the structure. They also study like gameplay and what rules, how rules affect. So if we're thinking about double empathy, how rules, we can take it outside of board games and apply that, let's say, in work or in school, that if we had a document and maybe a video with the objectives and the rules and what happens if you break the rules, it would actually improve communication. So they study that.
This is the way.
Then they have, I know you're going to make a Beavis and Butthead noise in a minute, but they have a theory about board games as a social lubricant. Yeah, correct.
I didn't even, that wasn't even voluntary.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, this might be something you might want to consider. You're like, I don't have time to play board games. There are board game nights, and it is a social lubricant that might be better than browsing on that little people shopping app.
Yeah, yeah, because I can't find anybody on the People Shopping app.
They will be at the game night, and there's reduced social pressure. There's a shared focus. There's less anxiety because, especially if you know the game, the goal is to play the game. And then if you meet people, awesome. They also look at the like statistics on if you are a regular board game player, what the transferable skills are. So you can put stuff on your resume, and I'll link to our careers, our autistic episode with Maisie. But this is really interesting. I wrote down once, I was like working with like a life coach of like, what should I do for a job? And
Mhm.
they ask you, what do you lose track of time doing? And I was like, playing board games, like reading and playing board games. Like, is this a job, playing board games? And they actually, Professors Krause and Atherton, they actually look at what are the transferable skills that if you're good at board games, what jobs would you be good at? How can you use those skills to increase independence, adaptability, friendships, confidence, relationships? So
Because
I
if this
think,
gets you into the flow state, in theory, other similar stuff would help you get into the flow state and make you more successful and calm and improve life overall.
yeah. And I don't know, I know you know, but in the not autism affirming like social skills groups for like kids, like tweens and teenagers, when they're doing those social skills, aren't they sort of teaching them like small talk and shit?
Well, yeah, because that's learning how to interact with people. Because you can say, "Oh yeah," well, I mean, like with Catan, if you are trading resources and stuff, you don't just sit there and trade resources. You also say, "Ah, I can't believe you got me there. You blocked my progression of my city. Like, I'll get you," and
Exactly. So
whatever
they
have you.
actually recommend board games for autism affirming social skills groups. Like instead of
Of
the, I
course.
don't know, sit around and
Like,
learn how to talk about the weather or
It is
something.
Monday today, is it not? It certainly is Monday. I cannot
Oh,
wait until hump
oh no.
day.
You did Monday wrong. You
Oh,
almost seemed happy.
a
Try
case of the
again.
Mondays. Oh,
Yes, that's better. Like,
yes.
it's Monday. You have to be like the Kathy cartoon. You got
Yeah,
to go.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
It's
that was geared.
Monday. Your it's Monday was wrong. That was wrong. That's
Yes.
not how we do it. You're
Yeah,
bad.
we
I
can't
will
have that
electric
upbeat.
shock
Yeah,
you. Yeah, no,
exactly.
Monday is bad. Now Wednesday, I do think you did a good job on the hump
Wednesday is
day.
hump day. The hump
Yeah,
day.
it's hump
Yes.
day. That's very good. You had the little sparkle in your eye because hump day we like. I
Yeah, and Tuesday is close to Wednesday, so when you're on Tuesday, you have to talk about Wednesday. And Thursday is close to Friday, and then Friday you talk about Friday and the
Well,
weekend.
no.
But
Friday,
yeah,
you talk about the week. Friday, the rule is it's almost the
it's
weekend.
almost the weekend. TGIF, am I right? Ha ha. Yeah.
It's not for us, but social skills with Catan, like you said, perfect. I would like a brick. I will trade you 2 sheep. I have so many sheep. Would you like my sheep? I really need a brick. I would like to build a road.
Yeah, yeah. Then you talk about how you've been getting all these resources because you happen to be this close to the mine and this close to the field, and you're building correctly as opposed to I decided to build on the coast, which is screwed. But there you
But
go.
also, I could say something like, I will trade you 2 sheep for a brick, and I won't build my road in the way of your road. Look at
Oh,
us
social negotiation.
collaborating. Look at that. I think I would rather do it that way.
Yeah,
And they provide like a lot of research that would support people who want to do autism friendly social skills groups. So
I like
I
that.
love that. Um so okay, so love their work. They're amazing. I'm going to put some links if you want to deep dive into some of their presentations. They're very, very entertaining. They are looking at, and what I want to focus on in this episode are board games that they have a name for them. You might even know it. It's not called new board games, but they're like the strategic European board games, like Catan and Azul. There's like a name for them, but
I was unaware.
yeah, it's like
Again, I don't have anybody to play with, so I haven't had the opportunity to converse about the nature of board games. So
I think it's like strategic or something, but not like shoots and ladders, not like
oh.
Candyland. We're talking about the more focused on logic, creativity, attention to detail, structured environment, predictable rules.
That reminds
I
me, I really
love
need to get a Candyland. I think Emmett would like it. But yes, go on.
Candyland is so fun. I still love
Yeah.
Candyland. Have you ever seen the game? And I guess Exploding Kittens is this kind of game.
I actually have that.
Yes.
And I not only did I get it, okay, so Kickstarter is the source of all board games. And
Correct. That's where we get
I've
all
got
of ours.
I've got everything like the Ghostbusters campaign and everything. So I was on the Exploding Kittens game, and they sent me a customized comic with the Exploding Kittens coming to the Lowry home and exploding because that's fun. I also have Bad Therapist, so it's
I do not know. Tell me everything about Bad Therapist. And somebody buy that for me for Christmas. Please.
It's if we have a short edit, it's actually across the room. Let me go grab it and I'll show it to you. So hold on 1 second. Oh, let me move my table.
Wait, did you call it Exploding Therapist?
Oh, no. Bad. Hold on 1 second.
Bad Therapist. Oh. Okay, hold on. Matt is moving. As he is doing this, I will also share in that style of game. I love Unstable Unicorns. I love Throw Burrito, which is bizarre.
I stand corrected. It is Horrible Therapist.
Horrible Therapist. I have had
Horrible Therapist. It is also from the Oatmeal, based on his experiences in therapy.
Okay.
And
what are these cards? What is?
Yeah, you pull a card and it says, "Why are you so anxious today?" And then you pick another card that is the funniest. That is sort of like vaguely Cards Against Humanity meets Exploding Kittens. And some of the examples are, I ran over a priest with my car. And then you find a third one that says, "Would you mind texting me a photo of that?" Or heavy breathing, or, "Well, I've got hand sanitizer if you need it." And you create a 3-panel comic based on therapy. So of course I have.
I know. It's like the New Yorker cartoons.
Very, very much so. Yeah.
The only time I've told you this, I did 3 days a week Freudian psychoanalysis on the couch for like 3 years. And the only time I ever read the New Yorker magazine was at my therapist's office. So I have like flashback to my...
I could see that as being a magazine that you would have in a psychotherapist.
It is the correct place for that magazine.
Yeah. But I recommend Horrible Therapist. I would love to play it with another human being, but again, I live in the middle of complete nowhere, I
will come on. I will play Horrible Therapist with
you. It is a fun game. I play it, deal it myself because my son is not old enough to understand any of these things. So if you want to come over and play it, it's really, really cool. And again, it's got Exploding Kitten vibes because it's from the Oatmeal and about his own therapeutic experiences. So it is directly up my alley. Not necessarily board game, but board game adjacent. So
yeah, I think it is. Yeah. So those card style games, they have, and for that matter, Uno, they have rules on them, right? So like skip, go backwards, reverse, like
draw 25,
Yeah, I think it's just 4, but yes.
Yeah.
So the same thing with Exploding Kittens and the taco game, like they have rules on them.
Oh, Taco Cat. Yeah.
Taco Cat. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So there are, I don't know if you know the game Munchkin.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God. That is basically like one of these card games, but then there's rules on top of like it is so much bottom-up processing, so detail-oriented. I'm going to link to our Pokemon episode under related shows, because when you look at a game like the way Munchkin is constructed, there is nothing but an autistic mind that could create that level
I
of,
love the complexity.
yes, complexity and attention to detail, because they all have to fit together. So you have to have rules that will fit with rules. There's a game, now I just forgot it. My son-in-law and his fiance and I played this other game. I can't remember the name of it now. Somebody in the comments will remember. But so tell us your favorite games in the comments for sure. But there are secret rules that we didn't know during the game.
Like Werewolf?
A little like Werewolf, but sort of different. Like, one of the rules was you would get a point if you could get someone at the table to drink. I think my husband had to get his son to talk about someone from work.
Interesting.
And so he was like, so what's going on at work these days? Anything new with Jordan or Jason or whatever he said? And then I had no idea what was happening because I had never seen that card. And my son-in-law, Jacob, was like, oh, you're not getting me. I'm not talking about that. I know what card you have. And I had no idea. And then Nicole was like, hey, do you want a coffee? And I like put my arm on the table and I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And then she's like, okay, 1 point. You put your arm on the table. I'm like, what?
Fascinating. This
So, yeah.
teaches excellent neurotypical social skills.
Oh my God. It was wild.
I want you to do the thing I want you to do, but I'm not going to tell you the thing I want you to do. You have to guess. So,
well, no, you have to do it because then I lost a point, right?
Yeah,
so then
yeah.
you have to. So there's also this game called Domino that has you like pick something like 5 or 6 different decks. I can't remember how many it is, but the game has like 30 different decks of cards with different rules on them. And every single time you play it, it's different because you pick out the decks that you're going to play with, the 6 decks or the 8 decks, whatever it is. And so you customize it. But again, everything has to work together. So it has to work that you could play every single combination of decks.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a spreadsheet. Like that
of course.
Is like serious bottom-up processing just to create the pattern matching, the strategic thinking, the logic. What would make this fun? I will say with Domino, there are combinations that are less fun than others. And so they give you, hey, if you want a fast-paced game, if you're teaching someone new, if you want this kind of, they give you suggested combinations, but you can combine any of them. We have made some boring games. We've also made some mean games because some of the decks have like villains and they're like a robber in Catan that will steal.
I do like Villainous. I've got the Star Wars Villainous.
Oh, what's that? I don't know that one.
Well, right. I'll tell you what. I will tell you all about it because it is one of my favorite games. But the real villain of the world, capitalism, wants to have a word with us. So let's go pay us some bills with an ad, and then I'll tell you all about it.
We will talk about playing board games.
Sounds like a plan.
Have you been thinking about writing a book? Did you know Angela helps autistic people write books and get literary agents? Whether you want to write about your special interest, your autism journey, or your professional area of expertise, you can learn more about her work at angelakingdon.com. That's Angela, Kingdon, like November.com. She helped me write my book.
I am as an autistic person, I'm bad at transition, but I love talking about segues. So yeah, it's fun.
Okay, well, you did a good job. And just to remind everyone, before the break, we were talking about different types of games and how they are created. I want to get into gameplay, but I think, did you have one more thing you wanted to share?
Yeah. Star Wars. Okay, so there's this series.
Villainous.
Yeah, there's this series of games called Villainous, where you play as the villain, trying to get your agendas met. And I do love the Star Wars. I'm assuming that others are good. I love the little markers because I love it comes with little custom toys, and it's great. But
Yeah.
Star Wars Villainous, you can play as like Darth Vader or Count Dooku or Asajj Ventress, and your gameplay depends entirely on your character's motivation. Darth Vader really wants to turn Luke to the dark side and kill the Emperor. Asajj Ventress has her goals. Count Dooku has his goals. Everybody has to manipulate others in order to get their own goals met. So the gameplay for each character is completely different. So I find Darth Vader to be exceedingly easy, and I love him. But others are challenging, where you have to collect certain tokens, you have to achieve certain goals, you have to get certain cards, you have to take care of certain things, and it's the variance in gameplay is fun. But let's talk about playing the games and why they are good.
So we love and are attracted to so many things about the construction of games and the, toys and things, but we are also attracted to the social dynamics of board play. So board game play. So the first one, and maybe you could do a little therapy on my relationship. I am the first of all, I process verbally.
Oh, yes.
And when I have an idea and you're talking, I will just blurt that idea out, and I
As
assume
is the way.
you will. Yeah. So my husband gets really mad about being interrupted.
Really?
Like, he loses his train of thought, and then he gets he can't get back to that point. And I think he gets stuck in a loop where he's like, what was the point I was going to make? And then when he remembers it, it's like the conversation has moved on and it's not a good point anymore. So he
would hate this podcast then.
I know. I don't think he really listens. Hi, honey, if you're listening. I don't think he listens. But I feel like I have heard other autistic people talk about getting mad about being interrupted.
Yeah.
And which is not my communication style. I know, I've seen lots of TikToks of ADHD people talking all over each other and getting super excited, which is my preferred way to talk.
Yeah, you build on each other, and that's a big thing about it, because we tend to talk in parallel rather than in series, because neurotypicals are like Christmas lights, where you have one idea followed by one idea followed by one idea followed by one idea. But we run on different tracks and bounce back and forth between ideas, and then
we're the whole tree, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and if one light goes out, it doesn't destroy the entire tree. It's just like, oh, we'll come back to that, and then 10 minutes later, Captain Barbosa, because you were like, oh, right. Yes, that's the thing that I was saying.
I can just shout that out. Correct. Well, this is something that a lot of autistic people find very regulating about gameplay. I know my husband does, is explicit turn taking.
Oh, yes.
In most games, it is very clear when your turn starts and when it ends, what you can do and the order you can do it in. And I think my husband would like all of life to work that way. He's like, let me know when it's my turn. I will take full advantage of the turn. I will fucking crush you. But I need to know when it's my turn.
You ever see someone sitting there and vibrating and foaming at the mouth because you know that they're getting ready to do something on their turn, and then you do something that completely messes with it, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, and they have to reshuffle and then hold on, because
that's me usually.
Yeah.
It's also very clear, in games like Dixit that I mentioned, you have a role even when it's not your turn, or Pictionary, you have a role, right? You're shouting out baby fish mouth or whatever the person's drawing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When Harry Met Sally. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yes. You got my baby fish mouth reference.
That's a deep cut. Oh, very well done. Yes.
Show notes. I'll put baby fish mouth in the show notes in case you missed it. Don't feel bad.
You're in on the joke now. But
exactly. So anyway, these clearly defined roles, objectives, turns, they create a predictable environment. Matt, why do we like predictable environments?
Because the world is a nonstop, constant bombardment of chaos. Because our brains process 42% more information at rest. And that's when we're not even doing anything. When we're thinking about stuff, it's generating stuff out the wazoo. So we see all of these billions and billions of variables, all of these data points, and we try to make sense of every damn one of them. And when we are in an absence of data, we have to correlate and find patterns that may or may not be there because that's how our brains work. So if we have a structure there, it limits the chaos and it helps our focus and it makes our world a little bit calmer.
Right. And that, like, I feel like that's when you really see us, is when we're emotionally regulated. So if we want to meet new people through board games, which not everybody does, but it is a thing. If you want to meet new people, it's so much better to meet them when you are emotionally regulated and you know what the rules are. Like, not to say you won't have a meltdown, because meet bodies and phone calls and text messages and who knows, but you've got a better chance of meeting someone as as your best self. So I think that's a big thing. There are also like with these Euro strategy games I mentioned, like Catan, that you can win Catan, and we will all hail you as the Lord of Catan or the Queen of Catan, as the case may be. But there's still an element of teamwork in a lot of those games. Like, you can't win Catan without working with others.
Yeah, because otherwise there's just some sort of, you would try to be a corporate raider, but that's not how the board game is established. You can't get resources unless you trade with others, because you can only have 3 resources. You can't. Yeah.
You start on the 3 resource spots.
Yeah.
You could get more through the game, but you're gonna need 5, and you're only gonna have 3. And
because you're not going to be able to build your town with just 3 resources. I mean, there's the great game is not set up that way. It's set up so that you absolutely have to negotiate and trade in order to build, in order to get more, in order to succeed.
There is a clear winner, but you really can have fun in these like cooperative games even if you don't win. Spirit Island is like this. Pandemic is like this. Carcassonne. I love Carcassonne. Super fun. Ticket to Ride.
Yes.
Whereas, like, I think a lot of do you remember I'm sure you remember the commercial, the You Sunk My Battleship?
Oh, yeah.
I did always I think that game is called Battleship. That is not one of these games I'm talking about. It's a little bully. It's like a little you sunk my battleship, and they were shooting and killing, and it's a little less cooperative. We can't see each other's screens, and you're just guessing. And if you guess, whatever D7, and my battleship is on D7, I die. As opposed to the more collaborative teamwork environment of a lot of these games, which I think autistic people, maybe sense of justice, opportunities to work together. I think that that creates a connection that maybe we don't get in other places.
My absolute favorite board game of all time, and this is going to be one that maybe 1 or 2 people out there, if that, get, but it is a Ghostbusters game from the mid 80s, and it had a 3D house that you build, and each player is a specific Ghostbuster, and you have to go through and avoid traps. And there's this rolling skull, a little plastic skull that has a marble in it that glows in the dark, and you can put it in a certain place, and it rolls down mousetrap style and tries to attack the Ghostbusters. And your job is to sort of figure out together how to wrangle the ghost and capture the ghost. Yeah, and it is a delightful game. My copy is ancient. The box is falling apart. It was, when I moved, it was one of the things that I put in my car rather than risk putting it in a box, because number one, I didn't want to lose it, didn't want to damage it, didn't want the pieces to come out. I put that in my car because it is one of my all-time favorites. And it is currently sitting in a place of safety on top of a hutch in my bedroom, because I don't want anything to get lost or knocked over or crushed before I build the board game room.
I'm just impressed that you have a hutch in your bedroom. That feels like an accomplishment.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, that's, I don't have room. It used to be in my kitchen, but this new kitchen doesn't have enough room for it, so I shoved it in the bedroom. And yeah.
Okay, well, that makes more sense. But I think this is a really good point, because we know that like our spins are in many ways our best therapy. That's how we find monotropic focus. That is how we find emotional regulation. And there is a very close alignment between spins and board games, because you mentioned Star Wars Villainous, you mentioned the Ghostbusters game. There's so many Doctor Who games. There's like Time of the Daleks. There's so many of these board games that align with your special interest. There's something Gray and Liam studied too with like trains, like Ticket to Ride and like those kinds of interests.
Ticket to Ride Junior, Ticket to Ride Europe. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an interesting crossover because you get to be board games. I mean, you can do an online version of a board game, but generally board games, you get to be in person inside your Godzilla.
Yeah.
All the monsters of Godzilla playing that game. So you're connecting on the movie, you're remembering the movie, friends, family, fictional characters. You're in your safe space with your spin. And playing a game and doing something.
Yeah. It makes the socialization flow very, very much easier. The social lubricant, as it were.
As it were, yes. And then the other thing I want to talk about, although I think this one can be tough, especially for younger kids, so I want to get some thoughts from you on this, but there are a lot of emotions with games.
Yeah.
And I know I definitely struggled for a long time with losing, because I am meant to win all board games forever and ever. I'm very good at winning. Maybe not. But like losing is really hard. And we have had many times in our family where we're playing a family board game. And this is when Jesse was younger, but especially when he was maybe 10 to 13, if it looked like he was going to lose, he would flip the board over and nobody was going to win. And there was lots of tears and misery.
Monopoly has caused many a family dysfunction. So
I do think, and like Paul has a no cheating for kids rule, because like the rules are written down and they're in a book and now they're in videos, and so he's like, we will follow the rules. And I feel like as a mom, I was like, can we just give Jesse some extra points? And he was like, no, because there are rules. And therefore we will follow the rules, which I can see the logic for, because he's like, who cares if you lose a board game?
But we shall not allow the children to win just because they are children. They will learn the harsh truth of reality.
I don't like that. I think we should just let the children win. What do you think? What do you think about this, about rules and fairness and honesty?
I don't think that well, that's the thing. I think that, like with playing chess, I am very, very okay. So I used to play chess a lot, especially with ADHD kids, because then you have to think about your moves ahead of time. Everything has to have like a reason behind it instead of acting impulsively, because if you act impulsively, you're totally screwed. So it's one of those things. And but at the same time, I really want them to enjoy it because I want them to play more. So with my one of my exes, she was down for playing chess, but she was not good at it. So, I'd be like, oh yeah, you can take that move back. Or, if it was irreversibly messed up, we would rewind 2 or 3 moves and then go in a different direction. And I got to play longer, and I like that. And it didn't make her as frustrated. So that worked out. But yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think there can be some big advantages because there is such clear rules, especially with adults. I think it's a safe place to process emotional intensity. And I think I haven't seen any literature from Cross and Atherton on this, but I do think it can be a way to teach rules
Yes.
to autistic kids in a way that should, in theory, be low stakes.
And we do love rules. We love structure. We
We
love
love
knowing what to
rules.
expect.
Yeah. But I think that in general, it is a safe place to process emotions, especially for adults, and that we have a lot of debates about rules, but once they are decided, we have some house rules. I know other people have house rules as well. Once those rules are set, then all is fair, and other people will win, and I'll win sometimes, and I don't care quite as much. So playing games, I think, is socially a big win for autistic people. I want to talk in general about why board games work for autistic minds when we come back, but let's take one more quick break. Then we'll come back and we'll kind of do a wrap up on why board games work for autistic minds.
That sounds good.
Thanks for listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast. I practice in Kentucky, and you can get a psychological evaluation or therapy with me if you live in Kentucky, or a consult with me from anywhere in the world because it's a non-clinical service. Just contact me at www.mattlowrylpp.com. MATTLOWRYLPP as in licensed psychological practitioner.com.
And you can find out more about writing your book with me at angelakingdon.com.
This is the way.
We are back.
Well, welcome back. We're back with me, Angela Kingdon, and the lovely and talented Matt Lowry. We are talking about playing board games. That's what we've been talking about, but I want to talk more about how board games represent autistic culture. I think, Matt, I'm going to make a bold proclamation. Without autistic people, you do not get board games. I don't think it happens.
There's absolutely no, because that's the thing with the, especially like something like Catan, the intricacies of it are so interrelated with how we process data and how we, the rules of the world and all the way that we understand things. That's not something that neurotypicals tend to come by. I mean, neurotypicals might come up with, I don't know, poker or flapjack or slapjack.
Yeah, they would come up with slapjack. They might come up with like 21. I think that's probably.
Yeah, that's the limit of the intricacies of the rules. But anytime you pull out the rule book and that you have pages and pages and pages of what happens when this happens, you see page 23, and then that's the intricacies that autistic people bring to the game.
And like with chess, aren't there like names for moves and things like that? So I feel like, to me, not to slight the world of checkers, but it's like you have checkers people and you have chess people. And other than, like King Me, there are not a lot of names for moves. It's like a tic-tac-toe. Like checkers is lovely, get to the other side, capture pieces, but the intricacy of like the names of the moves and the artistry of chess, that is a purely autistic creation.
Yeah. I wish I had a good chess app for my phone, because I've got a Cracker Barrel checkers game for my phone, but it's really easy because especially with this, if you stick to the sides, you can't be jumped on the sides. If you have like an entire row at the bottom where they can't ever get a king, they can never win. So if you keep all of your if you keep 4 checkers at the bottom and all the rest you move to the sides, you can completely destroy your opponent and never ever lose. So it's a really chess is much more intricate and much more entertaining. But I haven't found a chess app that I really, really like. If you have a chess app that you really like,
I was just going to say, please put that in the comments.
Yeah, because I need a good chess app, because if I can't sleep, I will play somewhere between 1 and 1,000 games of checkers until my brain is sufficiently, because again, when you go to sleep at night, you're running and running and running and running and running. It at least gives me a lightning rod to process stuff, but I would much rather be playing chess than checkers.
Yeah. It gives your brain like that pattern matching fuel that it's always looking for. And I even find that with the strategy games like Catan or Carcassonne or Domino or Ticket to Ride, all very popular in our house, is like, especially with the state of the world, which is so fucking terrible, and my brain wants to figure out what happens next. You are listening to this in the future, so maybe we're already in World War III, but today here in the past, I'm wondering, has World War III started? Was the assassination of the guy from Hezbollah like the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand? Like, where are we in this timeline? And my brain gets very busy trying to figure out every permutation of World War III. What if the US leaves NATO? What if the US doesn't leave NATO but doesn't pay? What if the US decides Russia can have half of Ukraine and then Russia goes into Poland? Like, I'm gaming this out all the time. But the mental focus it takes to play a strategy game, like especially like Risk, but like Ticket to Ride or Catan or Carcassonne or one of those, my brain is so busy figuring out all the permutations of whether or not I can get the biggest army or the longest wall or the longest road in Catan, that it is actually a mental break for me.
Yeah, because it gives you something to hyper focus on, to get your detail-oriented brain working on fun details instead of, oh my God, am I going to die details.
Yes. And am I somewhere safe for the end of the world? We've never talked about this. I don't want to make it to the end. I don't want a bunker. I do not want,
because then it's all Twilight Zone-y, and you say, "Oh yes, I could survive another 20 years in Fallout." So
no, I don't want that. I watched Station 11. Did you see Station 11?
No, tell me.
I watched it and I
I tend to avoid stuff that isn't at least halfway fun because the real world bogs me down.
Well, I mean, I guess like they have a life. They're a traveling theater group, so they put on Shakespeare and travel around the world.
That's nice.
Which is, so that's a life. Like, it's a life. It's definitely like people have relationships and whatever, but like they don't have Uber or the internet, and they have to kill their own food. And then sometimes people who want their food, and I don't, and they camp. There's no plumbing. They haven't it's the world ended. 20,000 people survived. So they haven't reinvented plumbing. They haven't reinvented the internet. It's just like a do-over. No, I don't want to camp. I want to be somewhere where I can exit if we're heading towards that eventuality.
That's the thing. We are at the zenith, unfortunately. I hope not, but it seems like we're at the zenith of human civilization, where we have our modern conveniences because we've achieved the indoor plumbing, we've achieved the air conditioning, we've achieved this stuff, but we've also achieved global warming. 4chan and other such
8chan.
It's
a autism vaccine conspiracy theorist in theory running our
that's
what
the guy with the worm in his brain.
I know, he says it's not there anymore. Oh my God.
Well, that's the thing. If you had a worm in your brain, in theory, there's probably some wiggle room. That's the worm probably took a chunk of functioning out of that, because I'm not saying you need all your synapses, but if you got a creature going through, it's going to burrows through some important connections there, which is why you might eat bear meat. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either. It's a disaster, but I do think that especially those really detailed, like Munchkin, those strategy games, even the cooperative games. I remember, this might be dark, but when the pandemic started, we got pandemic, and I think we got Forbidden Island and a couple other cooperative games.
Which reminds me, the people who are listening may not know. I bought an old copy of Fireball Island a while back because it's a fantastic 3D game, and you get to go on all these traps and stuff. And we're working on making a board game for Autistica because I really, really want to have like a 3D map, and of course, I don't know of anybody who can do vacuum form get board game maps, but it would be
somebody can.
Yeah, we're really looking on finding
someone
your
who can. Autistic special interest, building board games. Come talk to us.
Yeah, because we really, really want to make this happen, and about the pillars of autistic culture, and you have to do autistic related stuff in order to get gems, because again, I'm a hoarder of trinkets, as is any good dragon. So yeah, if you're listening to this and you design board games, please drop us a line, because we want to work with you and make this happen, because we've got ideas. But again, I don't know how to build a board game. I barely know how to play them. So we would like to do this, and it would be really, really neat.
Yes, I 100% agree. And building board games is a major special interest of many autistic people. So if that is you, we want to know about it.
It's all about the cones.
Yeah. The rods and the cones?
No, Parks and Rec. Ben Wyatt, the cones of Dunshire.
I forgot that. Oh, that's a good reference.
Yeah, because again, you know, they actually made the cones of Dunshire because, again, when they consulted, oh man, I can't remember the people they consulted when they were building the game for the show, but then the people who were like, yeah, we could totally actually make this, so they actually made a copy and played it at Gen Con. So it's all about the cones.
Mm-hmm. So there are lots of communities and clubs built around games and specific games, like, you know, obviously just like there are Dungeons and Dragons groups and, I don't know, Pokemon groups and stuff like that. So there are definitely Catan groups and different games where people really focus on sharing knowledge, deep dives, mastering, building expansion packs, building out games. But there are so many board gaming options if you are looking to kind of either expand the number of games that you play or meet people. We've talked about Gen Con.
Gen Con is awesome.
There are other, I think PAX Unplugged is another one. There are tons of tournaments and competitions. We went to this is kind of a board game, but not really. But we used to go to Yu-Gi-Oh events all the time.
Yeah.
Super fun. You should do that with Emma. That's so fun.
Yeah.
We met the best people there.
Yeah.
So Yu-Gi-Oh has a card game, and then you basically sit across with someone. You each have a deck. You sit across with
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yes. And then you switch people. So you meet all these different people that all like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Which is super fun. So many board game cafes these days. I just passed one.
There's a board game cafe?
Where I was. There's so many of them. I was in...
Where? How?
I don't remember if it was in London.
Are they in Indiana? Because
yeah. I am sure there are. Where was I? Was it in? Maybe it was when I was in Liverpool. But this is I know there are ones in DC. There's this really cute one next to a hardware store. And it's kind of like cat cafes. They're getting more and more popular.
I would go and drink some coffee and play some board games. That's very appealing. I would socialize in that environment because
in Louisville there is the Pearl Street Game Cafe.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
Right, Louisville. Yeah. It's a 14-hour. It's a plane ride for me. It's 693 pounds, and I can fly on KLM to get there. That's pretty heavy. I'm 405 Pearl Street, Jeffersonville, Indiana.
Oh, that's 8 minutes from here.
Yes. There you go, Matt.
Yeah.
I literally just Googled what's near Matt. I didn't. I Googled Indiana, Kentucky border.
I'm glad that Google has that button.
Yes. So
what's near Matt?
I know with my fancy, amazing library in Calvert County, Maryland, that I moved from, they had a board game club that met there in the room that had the 3D printer, because they also had a 3D printing club or a maker club.
Oh, that's nice.
There are definitely game nights at bars and pubs. They're probably too loud if you have auditory processing issues like I do, but still.
Because I love trivia, but I hate the loudness and drunkenness of pubs.
Yeah, because there's people and then noise. But there's definitely meetup board game groups that are totally free. And there are definitely like charity events at schools and things like that. So I would encourage people to get out there and try gaming, especially if you are feeling like you need to expand your social skills. I notice for me, I have definitely not gotten back to peopling pre-2020.
Yeah.
My peopling tolerance is very low, and I feel like that is an important skill for me, because then when I do people, I'm so stressed out and more prone to meltdowns because I have very little resilience for humans in public.
I can people pretty well at Trail House. Shameless plug for our autistic-led autism center in Louisville. Because everyone there is autistic. Everyone there likes to talk about autism. We've got a 3D printer. We've got swings, if adult size swings, if you want to like be a quote unquote swinger. But we've got lots of, and we talk about life in the tisms, and I could socialize like crazy there. But there's outside of that environment, I don't. It's tricky for me, and I would prefer.
In some ways, is going to make it worse, because you're gonna. I mean, I don't mean this in a bad way, but like you're gonna get used to peopling when it's not horrible, and
And that's the thing, because it's easier for me to people if I have an anchor person to stabilize, but I can't get an anchor person unless I people to find an anchor person.
Right.
So
this is, I think, the point I'm making about board games. Board games, in theory, especially if you pick one, like I was saying with Yu-Gi-Oh, the game itself can be your anchor if you are struggling to people and you don't have Trail House. Not all of us are in Louisville, but I am ready to buy into the Trail House franchise and get one here in Bristol in the UK.
Oh, there you go.
We're bringing it. I'm just giving Mary till the end of 2024 to, collect her wits after all she's done this year. But yeah, if you need friends, if you need connection, look for one of these opportunities, because board games bring out the best in us many times. They are a way to connect in our spins. They are a way to use your catastrophizing for good and your scenario building. And then also there's some sensory stuff, like a lot of the pieces are really cute to hold and look at.
Yeah, they're stimtastic.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. So that is why I am such a proponent. I can't believe it is only 7% of autistic people. I think y'all lied on the survey. If you get,
or they haven't found the right board game, because if they think, I played Monopoly once and I got beaten and I hate it. You haven't found Ticket to Ride. So
exactly. So that is what I wanted to share about board games. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. What's your favorite board game? If you don't like board games, tell me why. I'll still love you. And with that, Matt, what did you love about being autistic this week?
I have relatively finished my library. I think I've got maybe two boxes of psychology books. I collect terrible, cringy psychology books, especially related to autism, because back in the 1970s, oh yes, autism is caused by mothers that don't love you enough. That kind of stuff.
Wait, so you collect those? How have we not talked about that? We should do. Oh, wait, hold on. I have a whole thing to tell you. This podcast, my podcast friends, I am putting this in the show notes. This podcast was inspired by a podcast. I know you don't really listen to podcasts, but there's a podcast called Maintenance Phase.
Yeah.
And Maintenance Phase has 2 hosts, and it's about you have to listen to the whole thing, but it's about weight loss, and it's about how we keep pushing diets, but they don't actually work, and actually people gain weight, and they're based on bunk science. But if you go to your doctor, that's their answer for everything. And then people that are overweight get less good medical treatment and are discriminated against for this thing that most likely is a natural biological variance in body types. You can find it in every other part of nature. It is highly unlikely we are all supposed to fit on the BMI, and the BMI is bullshit anyway. Listen to their episodes on BMI.
That's life as a mesomorph.
Correct. I'm a mesomorph too. So the hosts of Maintenance Phase, one of the 2 hosts, which you don't realize this, but your role is based on her, and you both have fantastic laughs. You are the Aubrey Gordon of our podcast. And Aubrey started this podcast with me. I'm Michael Hobbs. I'm the Michael Hobbs of this podcast. Aubrey Gordon started the podcast because she collected insane diet books. And the first, 20 episodes are these crazy diet books, like the cabbage soup diet.
God.
And like Elizabeth Taylor's diet book. And oh my God, they're so funny. But these episodes, she actually goes through, I kind of want to make you listen to one of these. She goes through the South Beach diet, the Zone diet, the Atkins diet, Master Cleanse, Whole30, Keto diet. And she walks you through the diet, and you see how ridiculous they are. And it is very entertaining. And I feel like if you have this collection, we need to exploit it and do a series of episodes where you go through these books with me and we talk about how insane they are. There are no refrigerator mothers, just autistic mothers.
That would be very easy on the executive functioning, because I've gone through and put Post-it notes on the most horrifying / hilarious parts.
I have no idea how we never talked about this.
Yeah. I've been for the past 5 years, I've been living and packing in boxes because I've been preparing for an eventual move at some point. And now that I have library space, I'm unpacking, which is a metaphor for life, I suppose. But I've got all these terrible, terrible, terrible books that are just all very, very bad. We'll do a whole episode, and I'll read your passages out of it, and we'll dissect it out.
Yeah, we will.
So I've got that, and I've got that up. But my favorite part was that my son has his Peppa Pig library, just reads Peppa Pig books entirely. But yes, I love having my library entirely in its place. So I've got it divided into sections. One is smaller books that fit on this older bookshelf, and then a whole bunch of IKEA Billy bookshelves. This is my psychology / cooking book / autistic books. I've got the good autism books on the top, where they're at eye level, and then the cooking books or cookbooks, and then all of the bad psychology books, and including the Psych 101 books that I used to use to teach. Then I've got my comics, myths and tales, and origin of the world sort of books. Then I've got all the big books like Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park.
Do you have the giant size silver sparkly Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy oversized book?
I don't have an oversized. I've got two of the very. Tell me about that, because I want it.
Oh my God, you will want it. It's one of the few things.
Hold on. Yeah, you gotta.
I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah, because I want that. We'll come back to a break. I don't know where my mouse is. I think I lost it when I went up and got the thing. I'll have to find that.
No, didn't have it handy, but I
will
am
look
going to
that
show
up on
you.
the break. Yeah.
I have a giant Hitchhiker's Guide, and it makes me so happy, and I have not found the appropriate place to display it yet.
Oh, that's the thing. I've got so many books that have to be like on the top of the bookshelf because they're too big for the shelves. Like I've got an oversized Zelda book and some like the Calvin and Hobbes collection and the Far Side collection, and and I've got 3 shelves dedicated to Peanuts books because because after we did the Charles Schultz episode, and I was like, yeah, there's 25,000 strips. I don't know if I can get that. I've been gradually collecting them over the year and a half since we did that episode. Now I've gotten them all. So yeah, I'm very, very, very proud of my library.
Aww.
And it's not even, it will never be complete. It's just, I need more space for more shelves. So,
well, luckily you have Big Clock House for all of that.
We do. And when this weekend I'm going to get some more IKEA Billy shelves for board games, and I'm going to have the board game / Lego room. And when we have the board game table, it will be a great place to play board games and build Legos. And at some point I hope to have people over at Big Clock House to where we can play board games and build Legos.
I'm going to come over. It's only 14 hours and 632 pounds or something each way.
That's a heavy trip, yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much to Professors Liam Cross and Gray Atherton for, first of all, teaching me about this connection and pointing me to all their research. I am hoping to get them on here to talk about how therapists and parents can use board games to improve their communication with their kids in one of our advocacy episodes. But that is all for episode 95, Board Games Are Autistic. You can hear next from us on Friday in our Friday advocacy episodes. But if you love this culture episode, then don't forget we are back next week and every Tuesday with our culture episodes. Next week will be episode 97. SpongeBob is autistic, and for real, we mean that. So
yes,
until then,
canonically.
Yes, canonically, as it were. So I will see you back for SpongeBob. Matt, I will see you then.
Have a good one.
Thanks for listening to the Autistic Culture Podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to check out our advocacy episodes every Friday, where we explore important issues and share strategies for living your best, most authentically autistic life.
And for even more autistic culture, consider becoming a paid member for exclusive perks like Q&A calls live with Matt and I, a virtual writing circle, and our new self-defined living course by Becca Laurie Hector.
Fun fact, it costs us about $8 for every minute you hear or see us on the podcast, but our member pricing is just $8 a month. What a bargain! Buy one, get 500 free. Seriously, if you could afford it, we would really appreciate your contribution. It makes this all possible.
And of course, the best way everyone can support what we're doing here is to rate, review, share, and subscribe on Substack or your favorite podcast app.
This is the way.